Why hello and welcome back everyone. My name is Yu and today we're gonna be starting Canto V. I'm so excited for this. But before we begin, I have something to do. And, well, I have a lot of resources, as you can see. And I am also aware that these resources are gonna have when the new season comes. I don't know when it's gonna be, but I better use these resources while I can. So, give me some randoms for now. What do we have? Have a lot of Yisang, have a lot of Faust. Ooh, man, there's a lot. Especially a lot of Sinclair. I have 171 of Ishmael. So what we're gonna do... 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let's first use 100. Then see how much we're gonna get of Ishmael. 206, okay. Okay, not bad. Not bad at all. We have 377. Sure. So we need 23 more. 23, let's do a 10. Oh my god. Look at that. 400. Oh my god. Come here, Ish.
승선을 환영한다, 신참.
My
튼튼한
god.
몸뚱아리는 챙겨왔겠지?
Oh, damn. Okay. I like the voice acting. Well, the voice acting is always great. But yeah, whoever this is, they seem unhinged. Quite unhinged. The Pequod Captain. I don't know how to pronounce that. Okay, reward acquired. We have that identity. Now I'm thinking, either we go for this identity, because this also seems like someone who is going to be relevant in the story of Canto V. We also have the middle little sister. Does that mean we're gonna meet the gang too? Does she look so... she looks so cute. Okay, we have this identity, but I also need this identity too. I'm sure we have time before getting this one. But I don't know. I have a lot of ego shards. I'm gonna need this one as well. Decisions. Okay. Let's see. I have 448. Let's do 200 on Heathcliff. It's a safe bet, specifically because his Canto is also the next one after 5, so might as well be ready. Ooh, 420, okay. Not bad. Seems kind of even. So now we have, hang on, we have 510. We could try using another 100 on it, but I don't know. Hang on, let me see what he does as an identity. So it's a very much bleed identity. Sure. Sure, let's do this. Why not? Why not? 208. Mostly it seems to be navigating towards 2, in the number 2. Or it just cancels out with 1 and 3s. But ultimately, it's just twice as much. So we need like an 82 more. Let's go with 40. Or maybe 38. 38. 67. So now we need 20. So now we need 15 more. Eight. Okay. All right. Okay.
밧줄 꽉 잡아라. 가라앉기 싫으면.
Ooh. Oh my god. Oh, what? Is he a masochist? Why is he cutting himself? Ugh. He's also got those braids, which is interesting. And so many tattoos. Brother. And those muscles be flexing. Sheesh! Okay. We got those. And we have enough for the Wild Hunt as well.
다시 돌아왔다. 개소리인가?
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's a very different voice. But also glass? Interesting. Mirror dimensions? Ooh. Wild Hunt Heathcliff. Okay, and that's pretty much it for now. I think? Okay, these are not exactly relevant to the main story, I think. Still. I'm just a big fan of T-Corp. Look at these. So these are going to be also relevant to the story. Somehow. And these three also. But for the most part, I feel like I'm ready for this. I feel like I'm ready to wait until the next season comes, so I can start purchasing identities from here. And I'm kind of good on these as well. Although, damn. This one's amazing. Yeah. This AD is also very good. Very cool. Of Olga. Molar Fixer. There's also this. An alcoholic. I wonder if they are this. They are both Olga, or no? I wonder. That's cute. That's cute. Yeah, I think I'm good. Let's see now. We have 2 new Heathcliffs. I'll uptie this one.
왔군 때가 고래를 죽이고 심장을 터뜨리고 나갈 때.
I'm gonna be honest, I still like his first artwork better, this one. So cool. So I'll probably keep it. Then we have the Wild Hunt.
약속한 만찬의 날이자 사냥의 날이 왔다.
It sounds so different from Heathcliff.
오늘 워더링 하이츠가 갈기갈기 찢어지게 될 것이라는 걸.
What the hell is this? Man. Okay. And, of course, this one.
천둥이 몰아치기 시작하는군. 곧
Oh my god, left.
우리가 손꼽아 기다리던 그 악의 고래의 사냥 시간이 찾아온다.
Jesus. Jesus. The tremble in the voice. It's like she's insane. And I think I also saw... Yes, the other guy in the background. Okay. I wonder if this is either Ishmael's old crew. Oh, I love how she covers her eye. Or is it like a new gang, new pirate sort of situation? And this is where the bastard is. I don't know who would be the bastard in this scenario. Is it this guy, or is it whoever Ishmael is in place of? But I suppose we will find out. I'm definitely gonna level her up because I will be using her a lot. Poof. Nice. 35. Here we go. And I will level up him too. Alright. Now I want to check out what's new in Dante's notes. And I gotta remember that it seems that they are getting updated after intervalos, not after cantos. Although, who knows? Zam! Look at that. Look. So much. Okay. Limbus Company, Mephistopheles. Jesus Christ. Okay. Record 1. It's our mobile office, our home, and our vehicle. The sinners and I eat, sleep, go to work, and fight here. It looks like a mix of a train and a bus, but everyone calls it a bus for some reason. I guess it makes sense considering our department's name. Apparently, it's powered by an engine that Faust designed. Everything special about Mephistopheles comes from its engine. Not only does it power the vehicle so that the bus can drive us to places, but it also lets us extract identities from other worlds. We can also enter break rooms or training rooms via its back door, all thanks to the engine. It seems that Mephistopheles can be upgraded and fitted with additional functions. I think one of the sinners said it's like the bus itself is growing or something. I don't remember who said it though. Okay. Huh. The bus really transformed into a boat. I guess this is what the additional functions meant. Further modifications and performance upgrades were made possible by using both the resonance tuning fork and Mephistopheles' engine. That Mika person was in a constant state of astonishment now that I think about it. Heck, it's bigger on the inside than it is outside. I wonder. I won't be surprised if all kinds of fantastical functions get added to it in the future. I am curious to see what's gonna be the future of our bus, our Methy. Luxcavation Dungeons. Record 1. One of the dungeon types we can enter via the back door. Once we enter, there's the training ticket, Luxcavation Dungeon to the left, and the Thread Luxcavation Dungeon to the right. Looks like we can gather resources to strengthen the sinners by battling abnormalities or enemies we've faced in the past. We have to spend Enkephalin to enter these, since they also require Mephistopheles' engine to operate. Mirror Dungeon. They are dungeons we can access via the back door. The corridor that leads to the Mirror Dungeon is made of cold, heavy metal. It inspires a different kind of anxiety from our usual wooden doors and corridors. At first, there was just a single door leading to a Mirror Dungeon, while the others were shut. A second door opened at some point, though, so now we've got two. Considering that Faust let us know when the doors would open, I'm gonna guess that there are specific conditions for them to open. Or maybe they follow a certain schedule. Whenever I enter a mirror dungeon, I emerge to a place resembling a misty cosmos. I can choose which sinners to bring with me into each of the mirror dungeons. According to Faust, Mephistopheles' engine actively stabilizes the mirror dungeons we've allowed to enter via the back door. Their ultimate purpose seems to be to improve mine and the sinners' capabilities. Faust recommended that we make frequent visits to the mirror dungeons of the back door, even if it meant expanding Enkephalin used for the engine. Sure. Refraction Railway Line 1. Maybe just refraction railways in general. A place we can access using the back door. Gregor tells me that it looks a lot like the city's subway stations. It looks pretty dilapidated, as though it's been here for a long time. There's what appears to be a subway train on the rails. The subway train kind of resembles our Mephistopheles, except it looks like it's been left to rot for a long while. The subway train didn't budge with just one sinner inside it. When the other sinner joined, however, the door closed all on its own and began taking us somewhere. The sinners told me that it took us to the next stop. What I can tell from my experience here so far is that each station led to a different environment, some of which were places we've been to in the past. The door closes behind us once we get off the subway train onto a new station. Then an abnormality or some enemies attack us with no rhyme or reason, leading to immediate combat. Once the fight's over, the subway train door opens again. Once we are all aboard, it takes us to the next stop. Rinse and repeat until we reach the terminus. Terminus, huh? Record number 2. Faust tells me that they appear to be like simulations or a series of locations generated in order to improve our capabilities, akin to the function of mirror dungeons or the excavation dungeons from the back door. That makes sense. We encountered enemies like Cromer in there, but all they did was fight us. Maybe they're also just simulations after all. Not sure if it's putting us through a very realistic simulation, or if it's actually taking us to where the abnormalities reside. I still don't know enough about this place to say for sure. Once we made it to the end of the subway routes, we were allowed to return to the bus via one of the stations. One of the sinners was furious, complaining that it sent us on a wild goose chase for absolutely nothing. Until he saw Faust popping open the lost and found box, picking up a whole horde of resources. Refraction Railway Line 1. Though it's closed now, we've been to this station before. The whole place has a bluish tint to it. We encountered and fought some familiar faces, but many of the abnormalities in there were entities we haven't encountered in the lobotomy core branches so far. We hadn't. I recall that we've interacted with some of these abnormalities before in the mirror dungeons. Faust says that our interaction with them in the mirror dungeons were through some kind of spaces. Their mental spaces and worlds, that is. I guess the railway happened to stop by one of those worlds. Then maybe it's not a simulation. I don't know. Refraction Railway Line 2. Record 1. This place has a greenish tint, unlike Line 1 with its blue hue. I bet the next one will be a different color. And so on and so forth. Again, we've fought some more abnormalities we'd only had glimpsed of before. Everyone cheered when they saw that Line 2 had way fewer stations than Line 1 did, until Yiseng noticed some symbols on the wall and theorized that we were supposed to run this line multiple times. A new station was added with each new cycle, though we still had to go through the earlier stations first. Around the time we were on our 4th cycle, Heathcliff began loudly complaining that he was tired of doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. Some sinners seemed to grow increasingly restless as well, but the crisis was averted thanks to Yiseng, who said that the sign seems to say that the 5th cycle was the last one they had to complete. Once we wrapped up our 5th cycle, we were able to find a large hoard of various resources from the lost and found. From what I can tell, each line's going to have different routes and conditions to completing them. Well, that gives us a nice visual of what everything looks like. Okay. The back door. A door on the back end of Mephistopheles. Past it is a corridor full of doors connected to each sinner's private lodgings or break rooms. The sinners tell me that each room has unique looks and different interior designs. Faust explained that they may be reflections of each sinner's personal psyche and memories. I feel like I've read this before, no? There are more people on this bus than the number of doors we actually use, but the ones we do use can lead to different spaces depending on who opens them first. Yeah, I feel like I've read this before. There are also doors that just lead to the other side of the walls they're on. The door to my room opens to a corridor leading to the mirror dungeons and the Luxcavation dungeons. I can see that the corridor past the back door extends beyond the area we use, but somebody put a sign there warning us not to trespass. We almost had a huge accident when Heathcliff tried to go past the threshold in spite of the warnings. Something tells me that there are dangerous things or territories in the deeper parts of the corridor. Heathcliff's panicked face is still fresh in my memory, and Faust's uncharacteristic urgency too. Rush recalls this endless space in the corridor. I can tell that she is not talking about just any corridor, but what else could she possibly be talking about? Okay. That all seemed kind of the same. Okay, corpse. If KLTU corpse. Oh, let's check out the K corp. We have a lot here. Record 3. I didn't quite understand why they were flying a bunch of drones around the city, filming scenes of death and pain, but looks like there was a reason for all that. I learned some things about K-Corp's nest while carrying out their request, but I'm not sure if it's okay for me to leave a record of them. Yeah, that's smart of you, Dante. That's smart of you. Okay. Below us are some information that I'm not supposed to write down, but I wanted to record it anyway. Here goes nothing. Dante. And I just said how smart you are. Who knows? One day even I might end up forgetting everything. They explained that HP ampules were actually infinitesimally tiny nanobots, helping regenerate the body. Apparently, they were so small that a collection of them just happened to look like some green fluid. But none of that was true. They weren't anything even remotely close to nanobots. The ampules were just filled with some green fluid. K-Corp's HP bullets, also known as regeneration ampules, aren't like ointments. It returns the body of the person injected with it to a form they remember as being unhurt. Stefan Nat, K-Corp's founder, went to the outreaches of the outskirts and brought back this organism they call the tearful thing from which they extract the fluid. I think that tearful thing was once a human, from what I've seen through resonating with the golden bow. It seems like their wish was that no one would ever suffer from pain again, and that wish was granted, in some form anyway. Theoretically speaking, its tears can heal literally any part of a body as long as its brain is intact. Just like its name, the tearful thing sheds tears when it feels sorrow, and by processing or watering down its tears are the ampules, K-Corp's singularity made. At first, the founder Stefanette drew its tears by sharing sad or emotional stories, but once she passed away, those who seized power afterward buried it in a constant stream of violent, shocking imageries to produce its tears more efficiently. That's why the drones were filming people's deaths, so that they could force the tearful thing to watch those violent and shocking tragedies. Looks like making it watch the same tragedy over and over isn't as efficient. They have to keep feeding it new, different scenes of violence. That's why they're importing similar footage from the other nests. They were planning to use the glass window tag similar to the mirror to give it a constant supply of footage, but our involvement seems to have thwarted that. Oh. Considering that the tearful thing is, after all, an organism, it also seems to be capable of producing offsprings. Alfonso called the one we saw a child entity. I did not connect that. Holy shit. I interpreted her words as if to say, like, oh, it's just a part of it. It's not even the real thing. And maybe it was like a copy, but I interpreted it as maybe it's just a part of its body, like an eye. Maybe there's an entire body with the different senses. Maybe there's a second eye. But yeah, what if it's... Oh my god. An offspring? I don't know how, but if I were to hazard a guess, I'd say that they're trying to improve their production rates by using the tearful thing's children. How would the eye give birth? Record number 5. I'm only a little curious, but I wonder what would happen if a prosthetics user were to be injected with a K-Corp ampule. We learned everything about their singularity, from its origin to its production methods, but after they put us through the memory wipe procedure, I'm the only one who remembers it. I decided to lay low and pretend that the procedure worked. Even with my limited knowledge of the city, I felt like that this information was probably pretty important. I usually don't show these notes to the sinners anyway, but I'll have to be extra careful about it from now on. It is interesting to me that Alfonso and they as a whole didn't consider the possibility of a prosthetic not being affected by the memory wipe. L-Corp. Full name Laboratory Corporation. Its nest was in District 12. Okay. A fallen wing. Its spot currently vacant. It was apparently the epicenter of a city-wide event called the White Nights and Dark Days, which everyone seems to know except for me, or would that be the amnesia? I don't remember hearing about this. White Nights and Dark Days. The facilities we searched through for the Golden Bows all once belonged to this now defunct L-Corp. White Nights and Dark Days. Huh. Hang on. Oh, Lobotomy Corporation. Okay. So this isn't new, I presume. 428, 528. Looks like they left behind some of the ego equipment the Lobotomy Corp branches once used to manage their abnormalities. I think there are some conditions and risks to using those ego equipment, like the weapons or the armor. Makes sense, since they're extracted from the abnormalities that Lobotomy Corp used to manage. They also seem to affect their users' mood or speech patterns. Considering that they're made from abnormalities, they might pose a problem during our future visits to the Lobotomy Corp branches. Now T-Corp. Very interested in that. Located in District 20's nest. Looks like they specialize in using temporal technology. I've only experienced T-Corp through resonating with the Golden Bow. I've never actually been to T-Corp Nest before, so I'm not sure how true to life that experience was. They seem to value technology and inventions. The whole nest is literally monochromatic. I think having any color is a privilege permitted only to those with power. Black fumes constantly spewing out of numerous buildings have darkened its skies. Yep, I really want to visit T-Corp. I don't know if we are going to visit it in the main story specifically, but which I mean in any Canto. I shouldn't say main story. Everything is main story, but what I mean to say in the Canto. But we definitely have an interval where we go there. That I am sure about. U-Corp, located in District 29's nest. Oh, we are very close to T-Corp, huh? They use this singularity called the resonance tuning fork. It can melt together two items of entirely different nature into one, as though they've always been a part of each other. Somehow, the power of the resonance tuning fork melded guns and monstrous crabs called trash crabs together. They could use those melded firearms as though they were naturally born with them. U-Corp is scattered across the Great Lake, with most of its major institutions located on its surface, which means that we're in dire need of a ship if we want to go anywhere in U-Corp. So we got Mephistopheles modified into a ship using the resonance tuning fork. Seems to me that it overlaps this other region called the Outskirts. This other region, you say? So the Outskirts is like a region? Because I was thinking of the Outskirts as something beyond all the districts. But the Outskirts actually overlap with U-Corp somewhat. We have Outskirts and Great Lake here. Nice. Okay, fixers, offices. I knew it. The associations aren't the only kind of organizations a fixer might work for. Some of them also work for offices. They all seem to specialize in different things, just like the fixers themselves. Okay. Oh god. Right, sure. Divot Association. They seem to specialize in delivery and transportation. I see, that's why we hired them. The Limbus Company hired them. The city is full of dangers around every corner, so it's extremely difficult to deliver important items or information to the intended recipients on time without losing it in the process. Yiseng told me that while the city may appear minuscule in the bird's eye view, that the map avails one an approach that contemplates its surface area and not what a single surface of it shows, a world vastly different. The city is tied with brimming buildings in both heaven and earth. Their labyrinthine construction and the singularities paint a picture hidden for a screen. I wasn't sure what he was talking about, so I just nodded along. Deitzi Association. They seem to specialize in collection and research of knowledge. They say the association members use equipment that draws physical strength from knowledge. The harder to obtain and more precious the knowledge is, the greater the strength it grants its users. Looks like they lose the knowledge once they draw strength from it, however. Looks like they've got fixers who fight with their fists and fixers who fight with their keys? What? Okay, so I think this is the ones who look like priests. I think. The Seven Association. They seem to specialize in collecting intelligence. Intelligence, knowledge. I thought they'd be pretty similar to the Deity Association, but one of the identities explained their differences to me. While Seven Association specializes in using whatever means to collect intelligence that they have been contracted to find, Deity Association specializes in making the found knowledge their own by analyzing and deconstructing them. Still, I bet they have a lot of overlap, given their similar specializations. Workshops. They specialize in building and modifying gears used by the fixers. Technically, they go under the same umbrella as the offices, unlike the fixer offices, with various specializations though. People refer to these specifically as workshops. Primarily, they craft and sell weapons, armor, and other tools that fixers use. Sometimes they are contracted to build custom gear as well. At least that's the impression I got. Considering that they are also run by fixers, workshops don't shy away from taking contracts involving combat if they have to. Like the Rose Banner workshop did, for example. The city's technology. Memory wipe procedure. Okay. A technology used to wipe specific memories. I recall that we took turns entering, some room. The procedure ended when the sinners walked out with all their relevant memories wiped. Odd. I remember everything that K-Corp wanted me to forget, but that room, I can't remember a thing about the memory wipe procedure itself. This leaves me with so many questions. Why didn't the procedure work on me? If it didn't work, why can't I remember anything about the memory wipe procedure itself? That is sauce. That is so sauce. What? What if it... Okay, that... No. I'm already starting to come up with some theories. Or just... crackhead conspiracies. What if they wanted Dante to remember? They specifically erased what they didn't want him to remember. Like the procedure itself. That's strange. That's very strange. Okay, the outskirts. Looking at the map, there is a zone outside the general area where the nests are. That zone's called the outskirts. There are monsters at the outskirts. Ismail and Autis called them monsters and not abnormalities. Considering that they've encountered abnormalities before, I'm going to guess that there are monstrous things out there that aren't abnormalities. Well, it's not like we'll ever have to visit the outskirts. I doubt even Lobotomy Corp would build a branch outside the city. I just remembered that Ishmael said that the Great Lake overlaps with the outskirts. Well, that just means that we will probably see those monsters in the next Canto. I hope. The Great Lake. A massive lake at the south of the city. Some call it the sea or the ocean. The Great Lake isn't just one big pool of water, it's divided by straight lines into several smaller sections, all of which have unique colors. I've seen only a little bit of it, but it reminds me of a patchwork fabric. I do remember seeing that map in the teaser. According to Ishmael, looks like the Great Lakes chock full of treacherous natural disasters and monsters. Even if she's right that it might be too early for us to go to the Great Lake, it's not like we've got much say in the matter. Limbus Company ordered us to go in that direction, so we gotta. It sometimes throws me off about how Dante speaks or writes. I guess that decision's what got us into this mess. I'm still not sure what I'm supposed to do. In a way, I guess we should consider ourselves lucky. Nothing disastrous has happened yet. Maybe we're still in the coastal area Ishmael mentioned. Uncharacterized. I'm not sure where to even start. I guess it's only natural given that I can't tell how much I forgot to begin with. Maybe I'll start by making notes whenever I run into things I don't remember. Monsters. The library, Walpurgis Night. Monsters. I thought all monsters were either abnormalities or distortions, but it seems like the opposite is true. All abnormalities are monsters, but not all monsters are abnormalities. I think. They say that the trash crabs are the prime example of monsters that aren't abnormalities. Though they're not so prevalent, I think they are sometimes mentioned in creepy tales or legends of the city. Apparently, the outskirts and the Great Lake are both brimming with these monsters. Yikes. The library. I've only heard it mentioned in passing, but I don't suppose they were talking about just any old library. Fixers from Molar Boatworks mentioned it. They said that they went in there, something awful happened, and they returned from a book. I don't know enough about the city to connect these dots or make any meaningful guesses from them, so I'll just write down what I have heard and put a pin on it in it for now. Well, I've said my thoughts as to what I think the Library of Ruina and all this jargon is. Like the library, a large corporation, and a book is like one of the offices inside the corporation. Kind of like LCCB, LCCA. Walpurgis Night. It seems to be a special period when we can extract identities and ego that we normally can't. Though the timelines and the worlds we can access are expanded during this period, it's not like we'll be extracting random identities and ego from all over the place. Faust explained that whoever we end up extracting during this period will be relevant to all of us. Relevant to Limbus Company's current state in some way. But so far all the identities from Walpurgis Night are connected to Lobotomy Corp. I think. Okay, I may be mistaken here, because I don't remember if they are from Lobotomy Corp game, or are they from the Library of Ruina game? Or from both. Walpurgis Night seems to arrive once in a while. As usual, Faust doesn't tell me everything, but at least I could tell that the next Walpurgis Night will be different from this one. And that's pretty much it. That's all we got for Dante's notes. I suppose what's left to check out are the minis. Rooms past the back door. And the first Walpurgis Night. Will you enter the rooms past the back door? Hell yeah. I hereby confirm today's close of business for the sinners. Whether we're riding the bus through a forest or navigating the bus boat over a vast lake, our daily routine changes very little.
감사합니다. 지금부터 변동 가능성을 가진 최대 12시간의 수면 및 휴식을 시작합니다. 좋은 밤 되시게.
Thank you kindly. Starting now, you all will be given a maximum of 12 hours to partake in sleep and rest. The duration is subject to change. Have a good night. The usual hubbub, followed by the usual leisurely idleness. I guess I'm not the only one starting to enjoy these normal routine days. It wasn't by our choice, though. By now, I thought we'd be sailing vigorously across the waters toward the Lobotomy Corp, branch located somewhere within U-Corp. But here we are, unable to leave the coastal side of the Great Lake, dawdling and twiddling our thumbs. Well, it's not like there's been an accident. Well, Faust didn't elaborate, she explained that we had to wait for now. If I were to hazard a guess, we were waiting here to complete some kind of an entry procedure like we did at K-Corp. Either that, or we're waiting for somebody, probably the Before team, to get in touch with us. That makes more sense to me, yeah. The thought I had is maybe we are waiting to arrive there after a storm passes or something. But that makes sense for us to get info from Before team first. And I was indeed thinking if we are gonna have like a border between U Corp and K Corp that we have to go through. But maybe the lake itself isn't considered to be a nest specifically. At least the dangerous parts of it, and maybe we have to go through the procedures when we get to the main city hub. I don't know. Which brings us here, surrounded by nothing but endless water. The sinners chattered about inane subjects before complaining about this immense boredom. But deep down we were all exhausted from the unending onslaught of physically and emotionally draining happenings. Deep down we all knew these leisurely days would not last. So we each elected to enjoy this brief maritime respite. Maritime respite in our own ways. Oh my god! This looks so nice. The water is drawn so good. What's she doing, Yi-sang?
자네 정말 괜찮은 것이오?
Oh my god, he's having seasickness. No. If thou needest mine assistance.
수없이 말했으나 또 한 번 대답하자면
As I repeatedly make myself clear,
나는 괜찮소.
I am quite alright.
속에 있는 것을 자꾸만 호수에게 되돌려주는데 그게 어찌 괜찮단 말이오?
Thy countenance, returning the contents within thy stomach to the lake with such vigor, saith otherwise. Except for Yi-sang, who had a surprisingly low tolerance for seasickness. This voyage was proving to be rather uneventful. Yi-sang, the day's over. You can go back to your room now.
드디어 벗어날 수 있는 것인가?
Oh, shall I finally be freed from this suffering? My boy. Why can we not just let him rest in his room because nothing is happening? Seriously, I told you that you could rest in your room if you wanted. Okay, that's good to know.
벗들 또한 고충이 있어. 어찌 나 혼자 그리하겠는가?
Our fellows must also have their share of suffering. I cannot, in good faith, seek comfort only for myself. He's such a good boy. But I don't think they care. You're the one with the biggest share of suffering right now. While I wished that he'd be more reasonable with himself, I could see where he was coming from. I thought better of it than to try to convince him otherwise. I instead chose to help Yi-sang to his room.
고맙소, 단테. 그럼 조금 있다 보겠네.
Thank you, Dante. Then, until later. I waved at him and watched until he stumbled into his room and closed the door behind him.
관리자 나리, 그럼 본인도 먼저 휴식을 취하겠네.
Then I shall seek myself respite as well, Manager Esquire. Yeah, rest well. Don Quixote walked into the same door that Yiseng had walked into. I could get a blurry glimpse into her room over her shoulder. I couldn't get a good look at it, but it was certainly not the same room Yiseng had walked into. I see these doors every day, but I still don't get it. I should probably be used to this by now, but it's still pretty fascinating how the rooms changed based on who opened the doors. I turned, leaving their shut door behind, ready to return to my room. There's a... Is there a... Oh no, there's Dante, okay. I thought there was like a poster of Dante. Damn! Look at that. That lighting suits you so much, Dante. Slay! Okay, this looks like the mirror dungeon door and the farm doors. There's a door immediately to the right side of that demarcation of the corridor we are not allowed to cross. Within that door is a space somewhat different from the sinners' rooms. In there were the wooden door to my room and the metal door leading into the mirror dungeons. The doors leading to the Luxcavation dungeons and the recently opened door to the Refraction Railway also come into view. No new doors yet. For no reason in particular, I creak those doors open and take a quick peek inside to see if anything changed. Well, I've never actually managed to catch any changes myself, but who knows? Maybe I'll notice something worth keeping to myself. Which I should probably report to Faust. Something must have caught wind of my rather mischievous thought. An ear-splitting siren blares all the way here from the other end of the bus.
아이씨, 또 뭐야?
Oh, blimey, what the hell is...
아이, 이거 그때 그거지.
I felt that. I felt that so bad. He was probably in his bed and he jumped straight up and hurt his back or something. Boy, this again.
고지 볼륨 좀 내리라고.
Kill the volume. I spun around to face the other side of the corridor. The sinners, alarmed by the noise, were one by one peeking out of their rooms. They were used to this siren by now, but that didn't change the unpleasant fact that their sweet private hours were disturbed.
단테, 마침 잘 되었네요. 함께 확인하러 가시죠.
Well met, Dante. Let us observe this disturbance together. Is that a date? Watch it just be Charon be out of cookies. Okay. I accompanied Faust to the helm. She fiddled with a few buttons and shut off the alarm. Incomprehensible. Complicated-looking letters began to fill the round screen. Is that a new room?
아무리 파우스트더라도 해독할 수 있는 시간 정도는 다소 필요로 한답니다.
Even Faust needs a moment to decipher. Right. The siren always comes without warning. And with it appeared the mirror dungeons, the Luxcavation dungeons, and the Refraction Railways. I don't know if it's relevant, but I didn't see anything that would indicate activity when I checked the railway door earlier.
그쪽은 아닐 확률이 제일 높죠.
It is unlikely that anything new would appear from that entrance.
아직 2호선으로 가는 문의 불도 꺼지지 않았는데 그렇게 빠른 시기에 올 거라고는 생각하기 어렵네요.
I find it difficult to believe that the next line would arrive so soon when the glow of the door leading to line 2 has yet to go out. I gotta say, I really appreciate them putting all these gameplay mechanics into the story itself, explaining it. really makes it feel more engaging. I guess you're right. The first railway really took me by surprise when it appeared. A new door had appeared before us, its edges shimmering with a blue glow, and when we entered it, a mysterious vehicle was just sitting there, waiting for us. So metal. It looks so badass. A blue tint. Its appearance somewhat resembles that of Mephistopheles, but it was also patently clear that I'd never seen anything like that before. An odd feeling.
철도를 처음 마주했을 때의 기억이 강렬한가 보군요, 단테.
I see that your first encounter with the train has left a strong impression, Dante.
하긴 파우스트가 내부를 확인하려고 진입했을 때 격렬한 반응을 보이셨기도 하고요.
Well, I recall that you had a rather violent reaction when I entered the train to observe its interiors.
Come on, I wasn't the only one that freaked out. Everyone did. What if that thing left the station before the rest of us got on? Was what I wanted to say if Faust hadn't already turned around from the screen to which her eyes had been metaphorically glued for a while, and walked away. This wasn't it then?
네. 이번 변동성은 저희가 사용할 법한 게 아니네요.
No, this particular volatility is not something we can utilize.
Right. I thought it was an awkward time for a new door to appear. Too soon, too soon.
던전과 철도가 처음 나타난 시기도 묘한 시점이었습니다, 단테. 언제 새로운 요소가 관찰될지 모르니 섣부른 고정관념은 피하는 걸 추천드립니다.
The dungeons and the railways appeared at awkward times as well, Dante. I recommend that you refrain from settling into a premature conclusion. A new variable may present itself at any moment.
그리고
Moreover,
메피스토펠레스의 엔진이 변동성을 감지해서 울리는 알람은 복도 어딘가에 새롭게 드나들 문이 생겼다는 의미이기도 합니다.
if this volatility has triggered an alarm in Mephistopheles' engine, then it naturally follows that a new door has appeared at an indeterminate location down the corridor.
들어섰다가는 정말 되돌릴 수도 없는 공간이 열릴 수도 있으니 확실하게 파악해둬야겠죠.
This may reveal a space from which one could never return. It is best that we keep track of these incidents.
Well, even Heathcliff won't do anything like that again. Well, probably.
섣부른 고정관념은
As per my last advice to you, a premature conclusion is...
아무튼 당장에는 큰 문제가 없으니 남은 휴게 시간을 즐기는 편이 합당하다는 생각이 드네요.
Regardless, no serious issues have been detected at this moment. It would be most apt that we enjoy our remaining rest period.
먼저 돌아가겠습니다. 편하게 쉬세요, 단테.
Now, if you will excuse me. Rest well, Dante.
With those as her parting words, Faust disappeared into her room in her usual manner. Left alone again on this boat. I do like that the scenery has changed and we can see the gray skies and the water. I looked at the numerous letters displayed on the screen. Numbers, unintelligible letters, drawings and symbols depicted something. I had to shake my clock head after staring at that dizzying sight for a while. SMC, my clock. I wonder if this is how Yiseng felt earlier. I'm starting to feel nauseous. I was barely able to hold back the vertigo from setting in. Time to saunter back into my room. Let's turn in early tonight. How is Dante's body functioning still? You're getting no neutrons, buddy. I swear, if we don't put any meat inside of you, dude, your penis is gonna fall off. The first Walpurgis Nacht. Another day, another prolonged and dreary period of waiting, and some more waiting for something to happen. Of course, our bus boat was still floating on the coastal Great Lake. Boat bus, Dante, a boat bus. Voices of discontent among the sinners started small, but they have been growing increasingly incessant as of late.
아이, 깜짝이야.
Jesus Christ, how often does that happen? Poor Gregor. Holy crap! All of a sudden, an ear-splitting siren echoes through the cabins. It's that alarm again, warning us of a volatility in Mephistopheles. But it was much louder, much more painful than the ones we've heard before. And it looks like the lights in the bus turned green. And this time, it wasn't the only thing that assaulted our senses.
뭐야? 지금껏 이런 색으로 번쩍거린 일은 없었잖아.
Whoa. We've never had flashing lights like this before, right?
또 뭐야? 이 망할 고물버스 뭐 잘못 집어먹은 거 아니야?
What is it this time? How did you feed this bloody rickety bus?
드디어 길고 긴 기다림이 끝나고 몸의
My
시작으로
God.
들어서는가?
Her voice actress is having so much fun. Oh, this might be a signal that the long-awaited adventure is finally high.
이게 저희가 기다리던 건가요?
Is this what we've been waiting for this whole time?
아니,
No. Vergilius frowned as though he sensed that something was off. He turned to Faust. It was one of those rare occasions when I could sense the slightest hint of confusion from him.
비상. 매피가 터질 것처럼 울고 있어. 매피, 아파.
Wee woo. Mephi's blaring and crying. Mephi's sick.
Everybody clap for my daughter right now. Come on, Hugh. You know what to do. That's right.
파우스터 씨. 이런 알림 형식은 사전에 전달받지 못했는데.
What is this, Miss Faust? I wasn't informed about a siren like this before.
우선 잘못된 사실부터 정정하겠습니다. 메피스토펠레스는 고물버스가 아닙니다. 그리고 무언가를 먹는 행위도 하지 않습니다.
First, a correction of falsehoods is in order. Mephistopheles is not bloody rickety, and eating is not a part of its behaviors.
연료 보급을 위해 엔진에 있는 엔케팔린 보급 장치를 간혹 사용하긴 하지만 문제되지 않을 뿐더러 잘못되어도 전부 분해 후에 수리가 가능한
Jesus Christ. It does make infrequent use of the enkephalin supply gear installed in the engine for fuel, but that is of no negative consequence. Even if it was, whatever issues that may arise can handily be repaired after a proper total disassembly.
말이 그렇다는 거지. 그래서 대체 무슨 일인데 이게? 터지기 직전 같잖아.
That was just a figure of speech! What's this now? Sounds like the bus is about to explode.
메피스토펠레스를 고물버스라 칭하는 것은 파우스트의 심혈을 기울인 설계와
To label Mephistopheles as some bloody rickety bass completely disregards the amount of pain and effort Faust dedicated to designing it.
히스클리프 씨, 아까 하신 말씀 취소 안 하면 계속 저러실 것 같은데.
Hey, at least the woman is standing up for herself. Let her do her thing, okay? You offended her. And she's standing on business. If you don't take it back, I don't think she's ever going to stop. Oh, seriously?
히스, 빨리 취소해. 이렇게 설명도 못 듣고 있다가 진짜 이거 터져버리면 어떡하라고.
Yeah, here, take it back. The boss might actually blow up before she explains anything.
아까 말한 거 취소다.
I take back what I said earlier.
아까라는 표현은 매우 범위가 넓군요.
God
파우스트는
damn
그것이 구체적으로 어떤 발언을 취소하려는 뜻인지 알 수 없습니다. 대신 파우스트는 구체적으로 메피스토펠레스의 대단함을 설명할 수 있습니다. 가령 이 나사는
She has her priorities, guys. She has her priorities.
I cannot comprehend what you are attempting to take back. Your rather abstract reference to this unknown concept that you supposedly mentioned earlier is hardly clarifying. Anyway, allow me to list the specifications of screws used in Mephistopheles' construction that make this creation so impressive. First,
이 버스 고물이라고 말한 거 뭐 잘못 먹었냐는 거 취소한다고 미안하다고.
She really got under his skin, Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Fine, I take back what I said about the boss. It's not bloody rickety and it doesn't eat. I'm sorry, alright? The cabin briefly echoes with his cries, then a brief silence. Even the sirens have stopped. Did she smirk? She is so petty. I think I saw Faust flash the briefest grin of satisfaction.
좋습니다.
good.
전극은 끝났나? 별로 우습지도 않으니 인내심을 그만 시험해줬으면 좋겠어.
Is the clown show over? This juvenile tedious exchange is testing my patience. Yeah, it's a bit different from the usual alarms. Don't think this one's for a new door.
간단합니다. 그 밤이 찾아온 거죠.
It is quite simple. The night is here.
알튼 말.
Hey, she's actually said something I understand. She's speaking the internet terms. What do you mean?
타파모푼.
Okay. Toesenc. Toy sink. Oh my god, guys. I cracked the code. It's the Toys Inc. Toys Incorporated. Jesus.
답답하게 하면 모가지를.
Talk or I'll snap your...
발푸르기스의 밤이 찾아온 것 같습니다.
Walpurgis night is here, it seems.
지금은 밤이 아니다만 적어도 이 연안에서는
The night is not here. That is very apparent, at least in this coastal area.
당장 눈에 보이는 태양을 확인할 수 없는 현상인 밤에 대한 이야기가 아닙니다.
The name does not refer to the time of day in which the sun moves beyond our line of sight.
그렇다면 이것은 현상에 지어진 이름이라는 말로 들리는구려.
Then it appears to me, by that designation, you are referring to a certain phenomenon.
Isang seems to be doing a little better now that the waves had died down somewhat.
네, 메피스토펠레스 엔진은 여러 기능을 탑재하고 있지만 그 중에서도 여러분에게 와닿는 것은 아마 인격과 에고의 추출일 것입니다.
I am indeed. I am certain that all of you are most familiar with the fact that extracting identities and ego from mirror worlds is one of the many functions of Mephistopheles' engine.
하지만 추출이 가능한 범위는 다소 한정되어 있는 편입니다. 점차 늘어가고는 있지만
But its reach is rather limited. Even as it has expanded over our journey, we have yet to reach mirror worlds that are too far from our own.
그것도 황금가지와 관련이 있나?
우리의 여정이 진행되는 것에 맞추어 새로운 것이 끄집어 올려지는 것으로 보였는데
Is this the golden bow's doing? I noticed that it was fishing up more and more new things the longer our journey went on.
아주 틀린 답은 아니겠군요. 관리자님과 우리 수감자들이 경험하는 것에 따라서 추출 범위가 점차 넓어져 가니까요.
Broadly speaking, yes. You could say that. Dante and our collective experiences gradually expand our range of extractions.
보통 그런 추출은 대가를 치르고 추출해야만 하지만 경험하셨던 것처럼 갑자기 튀어나오는 인격패들이 존재합니다. 기억하시겠죠, 단테?
Normally, extractions require a certain resource, but there were times when the identity cards appeared out of nowhere. Do you remember them, Dante?
Yeah. Some of them just randomly popped out of the engine.
잠깐. 못 따라가겠어서.
Oh, wait. Slow down.
인격패는 또 뭐냐?
The hell's an identity card?
아, 모르셨나요? 히스클리프 씨는 항상 관심 있는 것에만 관심을 가지신단 말이죠.
Damn.
조금 부럽기도 하네요.
The subtle roast. You can tell that he doesn't even mean to insult, but damn. Oh, you still didn't know? I'm jealous of you, Heathcliff. You have a talent for ignoring anything you don't care about.
대가리 깨지고 싶냐?
You looking to get your head smashed in or what?
자, 그만 싸우자고. 저 길잡이 양반도 시퍼렇게 쳐다보고 있는데.
Right? Knock it off, guys. Guidebud's giving us the evil eye.
아무튼 그 뭐냐, 그거야 그거. 아이 관리자 양반이 엔진에서 종종 뭘 끄집어내서 들고 오잖아.
There, you know the things Manager Bud pulls out of the engine from time to time.
다른 세계라고 했던가? 거울 세계. 그건가? 아무튼 그쪽 세계에 우리가 어떤 모습인지 그려져 있는 물건 말하는 거야. 자꾸 길쭉한, 네모난 그거.
Man, I love his voice actor so much. Those little rectangular objects with our alternative world. Wait, was it mirror worlds? Anyway, those things with the depictions of our other selves in them.
맞아요. 마치 마작패 같죠?
Yes, the things that look like mahjong tiles.
나는 웨이퍼 과자 같다고 생각했는데.
I thought they looked a bit like waffles.
인격이 담겨 있는 물건이 마치 패와 같으니 어느샌가 그걸 인격패라고 부르게 되었던 것 같소.
I believe their denomination comes from their appearances as cards that contain identities. Thus, it naturally follows that they are named identity cards.
그러니까 우리가 그 네모난 장난감 같은 걸로 변신한다고?
So we're using those rectangular toys to transform into our alternative selves?
난 그런 거 쓴 적 없는데.
I never used them before. That's because I'm the one using them.
관리자님의 단말기에는 가지고 있는 인격패와 에고를 직접 장착할 수 있는 홈들이 마련되어 있습니다. 저희가 각각 전투에 임할 때 해당 내용이 반영되죠.
On the device issued to Dante are indentations through which identity cards and ego can be inserted. They are reflected when we participate in battle.
자꾸 싸우기 전에 뭘 만지작거리고 있나 했더니 그걸 건드리고 있었군.
So that's what they were fidgeting with before every fight. I could tell from his flabbergasted expression that none of it had ever even occurred to Heathcliff. On the other hand, Don Quixote wore a somewhat forlorn expression. What's wrong, Don Quixote?
본인은 그저
Well, I...
이런 상황에서 이스마엘 군이었다면 아직도 그걸 몰랐냐? 라느니 한심하다. 라느니 하고 있을 텐데 막상 보이지도 들리지도 않으니 마음이 섭섭하네.
Oh, she's missing Ishmael. Oh, Don Quixote, you really are the soul of the group. Is this not about time when Ishmael would intrude upon this conversation and denounce Heathcliff with biting words such as, "You still didn't know? That's just like you." This emptiness weighs heavily upon mine heart.
아, 그렇네. 그게 부족했네.
You're right. Something was missing from this whole convo. I knew it.
이 새끼들이.
You're right, daft bastards.
그만.
Enough.
설명이 밀려 있습니다, 파우스트 씨. 그쯤 하고 이 초록색 불빛에 대해 마저 설명하는 게.
We're not getting the information we need. Miss Faust, please explain the present situation. What are these green lights?
관리자님이 광기라는 대가를 치르지 않고도 얻었던 그 인격 패들로 미루어 보아 메피스토펠레스의 추출 기능은 불확실성에 따른 예측 불가적 특징을 지닌다고 설명할 수 있을 것입니다.
Understood. If we take into account the case of identity cards Dante received without spending any lunacy, we can draw a conclusion that the Mephistopheles' extraction has an element of unpredictability tied to its uncertainty.
뭐라는 거야?
What's she blathering about?
그대가 설계한 것에 불확실성이 개입한다는 것은
Yet this item is of your own design. To say that it has an element of unpredictability would indicate that.
맞습니다. 이 엔진은 엔케팔린을 연료로 나아가지만 추출과 재구축 기능에 있어서는 혼돈, 쉽게 말해 일종의 가능성을 연료로 하고 있죠.
Correct. Enkephalin fuels the engine, yes. However, extractions and reconstructions utilize chaos. Well, in easier terms, you would say that it uses the concept of possibilities itself as fuel.
And that's how they explain the gacha.
어딘가에 있을 여러 거울 세계의 줄기들 중에서 관측이 확실해진 것을 찾을 때마다 추출의 범위가 늘어나는데 지금은 그 가능성들의 경계가 완전히 허물어진 것이죠.
Our extraction range grows when we are able to clearly observe the specific possibilities in the infinitely branching mirror worlds. During this period, however, the borders between mirror realities are entirely shattered.
현재를 기점으로 과거, 미래 3년의 오차 안에 있던 추출의 범위가 발프루기스의 밤이 찾아올 때는 10년, 어쩌면 그 이상의 범위로 늘어나게 되는 겁니다.
Using the past as our anchoring point, it could be said that our current extraction range is approximately 3 years to the past or the future. During Walpurgis Night, however, that range grows to about 10 years or even more.
그렇다면
Jesus Christ!
엄청난 이름을 날렸던 해결사 인격다!
What the fuck? She became a gremlin! That's all the green lights. Jesus Christ, a fanatic. In which case, thou meanest to say... In which case, thou meanest to say that the identities of prominent fixtures from times past may grace us with...
이론상으로는요. 하지만 발프루기스의 밤은 그때만의 독립성을 가지기 때문에 모든 가능성을 무수하게 추출할 수는 없을 겁니다.
Theoretically speaking, yes, but each Walpurgis Night has its own peculiarities. It will not let us reach into all potential possibilities.
그렇다면
Jeez.
과거 최강 전설의 해결사
Then, does that mean we may also be availed our alternate selves as the legendary fixer, the arch magnificence, the one and only. Oh, someone very famous.
붉은 안개도?
Red mist? Red mist? Okay, red mist. Interesting.
가능성은 매우 낮지만 부정까지 하지는 않겠습니다.
That is extremely unlikely, but I will not completely dismiss the possibility.
범인은 이 세계가 있기 위해 필연적으로 얽혀있던 세계. 예를 들면 백야, 흑주가 있기 전에 로보토미 코퍼레이션 본사 때의 시점이 대표적이겠군요.
The extended range, I suppose, could be defined by worlds affected by entities that were indispensable to the formation of this current state of the world. An example of that would be the Lobotomy Corporation headquarters prior to the White Nights and Dark Days incident.
어떤 의미에서는 전곡을 찌르는 질문이었네요, 돈키호테.
In some ways, your words sometimes find a roundabout way to the truth, Don Quixote.
I woke up to this bullshit. I didn't know who this red mist was, nor did I know what White Nights and Dark Days was. Actually, yeah. Red mist reminds me of red gaze. You recognize some, my dear Vergilius? But I could hazard a guess. This is the third time you said that phrase, bro. That they both must have been pretty significant considering that Vergilius' face grew visibly tense as soon as they were mentioned. The sinners were unsettled too.
정리하자면 이번 알림은 어떠한 긴급적인 상황은 아니라는 것이 결론이겠군.
We can conclude that this siren is no cause for any immediate concern, then.
그렇습니다. 가끔 찾아오는 축제 정도로 말할 수 있겠네요. 아직까지는요.
No, it isn't. Consider it a festival that arrives once in a while. For now.
축제, 신나는 일, 카론도 신나.
Festival, festive times. Caron is festive too.
You are festive. You are the most festive person out here.
전부 이해가 된 건 아니지만 우리가 기다리던 신호는 아니군요.
I don't know if I got all that, but this isn't what we've been waiting for, is it?
맞아. 대기는 그대로다.
Nope. We will continue to wait.
The sinners sighed and ground with disappointment as the newfound anticipation fizzled. Well, something did happen, but it wasn't something that would get us moving. I can see what a disappointment this might be to them.
그럼 저 시끄러운 녹색불은 언제 꺼지는 거지?
So, how do we stop the green light from flashing?
엔진에서 추출을 진행하기만 하면 자동으로 꺼질 겁니다. 안심하세요.
It will turn itself off when Dante extracts something from the engine. Do not worry.
Oh god, are you kidding me? I have to pull for it to stop? So you're telling me if I don't pull for Walpurgis, my sinners are gonna be tortured by this green light flashing?
자, 이제 다들 적당히 해산해. 관리자,
Fuck.
당신은 빨리 추출을 진행해서 저 알람 좀
See?
끄도록.
See? Now they are guilt-tripping me.
Right. Back to business all. Dante, extract something and turn that alarm off.
좋말. 새 것이 나와도 기껏 뒷문 탐방이나 하고 다니겠지.
What a disappointment.
Ooh, AD. We'll just be running more dungeons through the back door with whatever new thing they pull anyway.
그래도 언제 이렇게 유유자적 있어 보겠나요?
Still, this leisureliness is a very rare opportunity, isn't it?
기다리는 자에게 복이 있다 하였소.
Last be the patient ones, or so it is said. Every sinner says their piece before returning to their seats. Some of them walk out of the cabin to gaze at the lake. It's something they must be growing a tad tired of doing at this point. Maybe they're just going out for a long sigh. And Al just walked up to me.
관리자님, 신경 쓰이지 않으십니까?
Are you not worried, Executive Manager? Huh?
저 괴짜 과학자가 아직까지는 이라고 말했습니다. 뭔가 뒤가 더 있는 거죠. 제가 더 파볼 수도 있습니다.
About what that mad scientist said? For now, there has to be more to that statement. Should I investigate this matter further?
Aldous was right. While Faust did tell us to consider this nothing more than a festival that arrives once in a while, she definitely knew more than she was letting on. But if Faust speaks of something in her characteristically cryptic manner, it means that she'll never tell us until she wants to. Well, it does bother me a little, but right now, we don't have a lot of options. Let's just put a pin in it for now. Aldous nodded affirmatively, bowed, and returned to her seat. Well, let's get extracting like Faust said.
You're not gonna force me! they really tried to pressure me. Pressuring me to pull. You know what? Okay. If that's what you want.
Okay, hang on. Here we have the Sinclair and Aldous. Gregor and Ishmael.
Okay. Spending one. There you go. Happy? That's it.
Now the alarm is off. Well, anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one when we will finally start Canto. 5. Vroom vroom.